Alright guys, so I just had a awesome shed out of my normal Boa Constrictor, and she is now definitely over 6 feet. So I just kind of want to show you guys if you guys have the correct humidity and in your setups, you guys will always get the perfect shed out of them. And she's kind of been in a bad mood lately, but I wanted to show you guys her after her shed. And I don't have a wide angle view on my camera, so it's kind of difficult to get her whole body since she's getting so huge. This is my normal, common boa, and I got her when she was a baby, and I think she is extremely beautiful for being just a common boa. And sometimes I enjoy these just a little bit more than the BCCs. So just want to show you guys, she's getting pretty big. She's actually getting a lot of weight on her. I'm not sure how much she weighs. Kind of stopped weighing her after she was over about 4 feet. But I do think she's getting pretty strong. I think her body type is looking good. It's squared off all the way down to the end. And I'm feeding her medium rats right now every 2 weeks, which I think I should bump up to a large, and then I would definitely go every 3 weeks to every 4 weeks on that. But she was born in 2016, and she is definitely my fastest growing snake that I do have. It's one of the big differences between the normal boas and the true red tails, the BCCs. These definitely grow a lot faster and quicker, but they don't get as large as the BCCs. Those definitely take a little bit more time, but they do have a much longer length and weight on them. I do generally trust my snakes for the most part. I've never been bit by her or struck at by her, even though she sometimes does hiss at me when I try to get her out of her enclosure. But I always try to look at their body type or their body movements just to make sure that she's calm and she's not getting stressed out. I've always been told that when they're flicking their tongues, that is always a good sign that they are pretty content and they're most likely not going to bite you. But I always am definitely cautious around my face and stuff like that. I know a lot of people get their snakes, all over their head or all up in their face, but I would rather not get bit anywhere in that area with a boa of this size, because she could definitely do some damage to me. You can see her tail, her markings a little bit on her, which I think are awesome for being a normal. I think they stayed pretty bright. I know a lot of times they do fade out into like a really dark brown or a really dark red. So let's just keep her away from my face. But you can see probably some of her length going into the enclosure. Let's bring a little bit closer. You can see the tail as she's going in. So I love her markings. And I do believe that the price on these have gone up a little bit for just the comments. I think they're around 100, 150. I'm not 100% sure on that. I know I paid about $40 for her back in 2016, but I guess it all depends on who you go to, where you find them. I was at the Cincinnati Expo and got a great deal on her. So I'll show you my albino really quickly. I normally don't take her out too much. Well, I guess I don't take her out too much on camera. I do have her out quite a bit, but she is also a 2016 and she's got some good size on her. Her tail markings are pretty good. They have faded a ton since I first got her, because when I first got her they were bright pink. But I think she's doing pretty good. Albinos are a little bit weird that I've realized, and they definitely show a lot of the muscles, and a lot of the their skin is just a little bit different than the BCIs or the common boas when looking at them, because they're on the same feeding schedule. They're almost kind of the same size. She might be a little bit smaller, but she's definitely pretty close to the 6 foot mark. And her body structure doesn't really have that like squared off look as perfectly or as the normal does. So it kind of looks like she's a little bit overweight, but I don't think she's really having any issues with that. And then you can see right here, these lines, you can really see them on albinos. And those are just crease lines from when she was coiled up, where the scales got bent back just a little bit. I don't believe it hurts them. Might be a little bit uncomfortable for them after long periods of time, but I think if it would hurt them, then they wouldn't, coil up as they normally do. So she's super sweet, super nice. All my snakes are, I would say, extremely docile. I do hold them quite a bit. The only snake that I really would have an issue with, I think, would be my Argentine. Just getting her out of the cage, because she does kind of have an attitude at times because of that. But once she's out, she's perfectly fine, and I don't have any issues with her. So, I love the albino. When I was looking at boas, my very first boa was my my normal. I went to the reptile show. I saw the albino, and I didn't really want to pay the money because it was like a little over $200. And I didn't want to pay the $200 because I was new to boas, and I wasn't sure if I really liked them or not, because when I was looking at pictures, I thought they were kind of weird looking, and I don't know, I just thought they were kind of ugly. But they had the normal right next to her, same breeder, and so I went and I got the normal, and then I really was looking up a lot of pictures and stuff online about albinos, and I really wanted the albino. So the next month I went back to the same breeder. He had the albino, and so I bought the albino. So those were my very first 2 snakes that I owned, and I've been happy with them ever since. And since then I have been buying more boas, and I've never looked back. I do like ball pythons, but once you get into other snakes other than ball pythons, I think it's a whole different ball game with size, feedings, and they definitely have a huge personality, which I really like, because they're not just snakes that just coil up or just really don't do very much. They definitely they like to explore. They constantly are moving. Even you saw my other just 2 that they wouldn't stop moving. So they're definitely an more exciting snake than just a ball python. But that's just my personal view on that. And then you get into like them. They can be nice. They can be cranky. They can, every day is kind of like a different attitude with them. So, not saying that it's a bad thing. It's just kind of something different and definitely kind of exciting. But I was to be feeding a few snakes right now, so we'll just come over here to the other side of the snake room. I was going to feed my Guyana because she has to eat. But when I was thawing out her rat pup, her stomach, I'll show it to you guys. The stomach just doesn't look normal, so I really don't want to risk it. And so I'm just gonna kind of thaw out another one for her, and then I'll just feed her later on tonight off camera, because the last thing I want to do is feed a bad rat to one of my snakes, and then we have some serious issues with that. So I got 4 snakes that I have to eat. Well, I guess 3 now. It was 4. And I've been feeding my king snake quail, which she definitely doesn't have any issues with that. And I think she likes those better than her mice. So, and ever since I've been feeding her quail, she's been shedding more frequently. So I don't know if there's more protein in the quail or not. But one thing that I have noticed is that king snakes dump their water basically every single day. So I gotta fill her water dish up again. But the good thing about the Repti chip is that it definitely keeps enough moisture in her area, so I'm really not too concerned about the levels of humidity. And then king snakes are definitely monsters on eating, like she's just struck it and then she's already taken it down. I know you guys hear me say this in a lot of other videos, it takes forever for a boa to eat. And then as she's, or he, this is my only snake that I don't know the sex of. So I'll let her finish that up. Turn the light around a little bit. She's basically taking that all the way down. So we'll move over to my motley, which is in deep shed right now, which is why she is in the water, which is perfectly normal. And then I'll zoom in on her eyes. You can see how cloudy they are, so she should be shedding within a week. I'm not sure if she's actually going to eat or not, but I can always try. Yep. Perfect, there she goes. I've been feeding her super slow and as babies, because I'm always worried they're going to regurgitate. I definitely don't want that to be happening. So I think on our next feeding, I'm going to get her on rat pups, because she should definitely be taking those. And her body looks a little weird, but it's just because she's got super loose skin from her shed. And this is the rat pup that I was talking about that I was going to feed my my Guyana. Just the stomach of it just doesn't look very good. I don't know if it started decomposing and rotting inside, but definitely not going to feed that to her because I don't want to take any risks. And then she'll take forever. So king snake is already done. It's just she'll take the seconds. Oh, there she goes. Perfect. Alright, so I know I shouldn't be doing this, but I'm just going to do this for the video. This is Pop-Tart, my green anaconda, which everybody might know about if you've watched my videos. But I'm going to try to feed her outside of her enclosure, because she poops all in her water dish, and then I gotta clean that out, and I don't want to feed her in that at all. She may or may not eat. She's been eating small rats consistently for me, but she's been eating them in her water dish. So I'm not sure if that's a thing with, well, maybe not. She definitely took it. So definitely makes me happy that she is on rats right now, which is perfect. So we'll just zoom in for a little bit so we can get to a little bit of some action on that. And I'm totally like in shock about the spread of her jaws, because I mean I think she can open her mouth wider, you know, as a 9-month-old snake than my other, you know, like my 6-foot boas can, and it's just super impressive. We'll see how she does outside of her from her water dish and eating. I'm not too sure what's going on with her right now, but again, she does take a while to eat, but it's a good sign that she struck at it and she has it coiled. And then my kingsnake over here is killing down the second quail, and then of course my motley is doing nothing. So pretty typical. I will try to feed my other Suriname redtail right now. See if she will eat. I'm not sure if she will or not. She is in this tub right here because she was escaping from the other tub that I put her in, and I even taped down all the sides, and she still somehow managed to lift the top up and get out. So she's definitely in here with paper towels because she was super dirty. I found her in a very dusty area, but she was only gone for a couple of hours, and so just have her in here just trying to de-stress and hang out, and hopefully she will eat. One thing that I have noticed is snakes are definitely escape artists, so if you guys have snakes, I'm sure at one point you may have found that they have gotten out, and not that it means we're bad snake keepers, it just means we need to be prepared for them to not get out again, because apparently they can, even these boas can flatten themselves out to basically paper thin bodies, and can get out of extremely small spaces, or get into small spaces. So my Suriname boa really just likes to eat on her own, and there's really no, I'm not sure why, but she just likes to eat on her own time, off camera. I don't know what she's doing, but it's kind of aggravating. Oh, there we go. I don't know if you can see how wide her jaws are coming apart, but that is definitely a lot wider than any of my other boas have, you know, spread their jaws out. And I really think that this is an appropriate size for her. I don't think I'm doing anything ridiculous on size, and I know these are boas, and so I definitely need to be careful on overfeeding them. I won't say power feeding them, but I'm pretty sure anacondas can take some pretty serious big meals at once. So the last thing I want her to do is become obese, or feeding her too quickly where she's going to have heart issues or liver issues or something like that, even though she is a baby. So I do believe it's kind of difficult to overfeed a lot of the babies since they have high metabolisms and that they should burn them off. But a lot of people with anacondas, like even at her size, would throw a large rat at her, and even though she would eat her, she would have a huge knot in her stomach. And me personally, if you wouldn't do that to a normal boa at this size, you shouldn't do it with an anaconda, because they are both in the boa family, and so they both have slower metabolisms. I have no personal experience with Burmese pythons or the retics. Maybe they can get away with it, but just as anacondas, I don't know, it's makes me super nervous on feeding them too much and overfeeding them. But she's definitely doing a good job on working it down. So I'm taking some pictures from my Instagram, and I'll post that on the description. But if you guys want to go there and check out a lot more pictures, it is snakes_combat_vet, and you guys can find more pictures of just about everything that I do with them. But I don't do too many videos. And this leg right here is bothering me, but it is what it is. I already have a feeling that I'm going to be in pretty deep with her on the feeding bill, and I probably need to start within the next year finding somebody who breeds rabbits and sells rabbits as feeders, because I'm pretty sure that she'll be on smaller rabbits probably within a year. I think I've seen multiple people with anacondas, and at a year and a half, I see some people with 6-foot anacondas. I see some people with 9-foot anacondas, 5-foot anacondas, stuff like that. But for the most part, they're pretty good at keeping their body size normal and not too obese. And then my air conditioning kicks on in the house, but the room is heated up to about 82 to 84 degrees. And then I'm gonna try not to get you guys too dizzy on this, but you can do some close-up action shots on her, and she's definitely taking that down super fast. So I do apologize that this is a super long video. If you guys, well, I guess this is toward the end of it, but I don't know if you guys skip around, if you guys speed up the videos. I know on long videos I do the ×2, ×3 on it, on the speed. But you can see here that her skin is getting a little bit dried out, and she's been in the water for, you know, all day. So I need to get her water changed out and get her back in so she can get her scales, you know, back to where they should be, so they're nice and wet, I guess. So I don't know if anacondas dry out if they don't get enough water and die. I would assume not, but I have absolutely no idea. I know they're water snakes, but I don't know what happens if they're out of water for too long of a time. And I don't know enough information or where to find that, because there's really not a lot of good information on anacondas out for the public. And I'm not sure if that's because a lot of people don't own them, or if they haven't been around in the pet trade massively, like retics and stuff like that, because I really don't see too many people even owning anacondas massively. It's just almost all retics on like big snakes, which is surprising because retics do get bigger than anacondas. Well, longer anyways. Not really about mass. Ugh. And so that's basically it. Sorry about my, and of course the motley is still trying to get down that little mouse. But I appreciate you guys watching my videos. Appreciate you guys subscribing and liking my videos. I know this has been a super long one, and hopefully you guys wasn't too painful to watch this, and you guys got to see some, you know, glad I could show off my snakes to you guys, because I mean, I have them, I enjoy them. I figured I might as well show them off to the world. You know, but it's whatever. So you can see where the rat is, and even that size right there makes me a little bit concerned, because to me that is even too much. But I've been talking to some anaconda people and say that is not too much. But I've been feeding her about every, I don't know, I really need to get her, if she's on, I think, smalls, every 10 days. But I'm doing my best not to overfeed her and make her obese or anything like that. It just makes me nervous, because I know anacondas can take large meals, and I just want the best for her and for her to be healthy as she grows up. But anyways, that's enough of me rambling on. I'm sure you guys are sick of my voice for now. So I really do appreciate it. I hope you guys have an awesome night, awesome day, awesome week whenever you guys are watching this. And if you guys have any questions or comments or anything that you guys want to see out of my snakes, please let me know in the comments. Alright guys, catch you on the next video.